Well, it's just the sort of thing that Alex prepares for with his, like, you know, with his build of Merfolk.
Right. I mean, Alex plays a deck that is hard to hate out, and that's exactly what this does.
I doubt he, like, you know, builds his deck to play around green-white hate bears, but this deck is trying to hate out a lot of the decks that Alex is already, you know, trying to play around.
Right. So for those just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Big Head Joe, and we're covering the round 3 feature match between Alex Bertoncini and Neil Camponovo here at Dallas Fort Worth Star City Games Open Series. On your left, you'll see Alex Bertoncini playing What Else But Merfolk. Pretty stock list to what the same list he always plays. He just switches up a couple cards here and there. This week, the big changes all in quotes. We have Kira Great Glass Spinner and Sower of Temptation, a 1 Sower. So we have 3 Kiras and 1 Sower. I think he's had 2 Kiras in the past. No Spell Pierces this time around. He felt it was going to be more of a beatdown field. Alex looking intense and ready to game over there. The Spell Pierces are on the sideboard. He's got 4 Hydroblasts, Lawan, Submerged, Jite, Sower. Usual suspects. His opponent is playing a deck you haven't seen a lot of, though. Neil Camponovo is playing a Hate Bears deck with Mother of Runes, Tarmogoyf, Aven Mind Sensor, Noble Hierarch, Pride Mage, Teague, Arbiter, Terravore, Sarah Avenger, Aether Vial, Path to Exile, and Chromox, and even more Hate Bears on the sideboard with True Believer, Ethersworn Canonist, and Phyrexian Revoker, and Leanin' Relic Warder. The problem is, for Neil Camponovo, out of all the decks in the format, Alex's deck does not have very much in the way of things that his Hate Bears hate out. He doesn't search his library at all. He doesn't have spells that cost 4 more. Doesn't have anything that targets Neil. So
well, he does have Force of Will. Now, does Force of Will get affected by that when you pay the alternate cost?
Force of Will does get affected. That's true. So you cannot force under a Gaddock T.
Now, I would say almost as important. The time is right now 12:46. So if you heard me say 12:46 and you look at your clock and it says 12:46 or 12:44, I think my watch is like 2 minutes fast, but then that means you are live. You are joining us right now as the action is happening.
Yeah, let us know, because we just reset the feed. For those who just lost the feed for a couple seconds there, we turned it off and then back on. Just because we had a 15-minute delay, it was getting kind of ridiculous. And hopefully this will make the quality a little better too. So this is going to be a rough matchup for Neil Camponovo, I think. Clearly not what he was hoping to play against with his Hate Bears deck.
For sure.
And for everyone who lost the feed with Drew Levin's game still going on, Drew Levin did end up winning. He had a pretty dominating board position in the third game and then won. It was too bad, too, because we got like Jerry T to come in here and talk about his deck a little bit and had a couple cool conversations, but all in all, I'm sure everyone's happier now that the feed is actually live. And hopefully the quality is a little better for you guys. So Alex opens up with a Wasteland on Neil's land. Ghost Quarter comes down for Neil Camponovo.
Some cards I haven't seen very often. Go ahead.
Oh, that was a Razor Verge Thicket.
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing green-white, those Scars Dual Lands are some of the best ones you can play.
Oh, yeah.
They're just so awesome. And in a deck like this, you don't want to play fetch lands because they get messed up by your Leanin' Arbiters and such.
Yeah.
So instead, we've got a Savannah, Horizon Canopy, Wooded Bastion, Caracas, Plains, Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, and Razor Verge Thicket.
He reveals a fishy.
Yep.
Draws a card. Passes it back.
Yeah. Trademark choice by Alex Bertoncini over there. Awesome. Looks like we are live again. The tweets are pouring in. So good to know. Well, hopefully we won't get too far behind again. All right, here comes Tarmogoyf. And Neil's going to take 1 for tapping that Horizon Canopy.
Not a hate bear, but just hateful.
Tarmogoyf is a good one. Worth noting, there's no Knight of the Reliquary in this deck. Potentially because it's not a 2/2 for 2. But also because thought it might have it because you could fetch up, Ghost Quarters and Caracas and Wastelands and such, but it does not have that option. So, let's see, Lord of Atlantis, and I believe, is that a Curse Catcher from Alex Bertoncini?
Where? Off
screen, right where it says Open Series, Open.
If he paid 1 for it and it's not a...
I think I see.
And it's not a vial,
I'm pretty
then
sure
it's probably a Curse Catcher, yeah.
Yeah. So there's Curse Catcher. And looks like Neil's board is Caracas, Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, Horizon, Canopy, Tarmogoyf. And yeah, it's Curse Catcher. Finally saw a glimpse of it there. And no islands to island walk. A change from mini decks.
Yeah. But lots of beefy fish. He's going to flash in the Mind Sensor to chump block. Or not, maybe to trade. Yeah, to trade. Or not even to trade. It's a 2-3, right?
Yep. Okay, so Mind Sensor trades
2-1, sorry.
with the Lord.
That'd be awesome. It's a 2-3.
All right, Magic players in $10 draft number 2, please report to Judge Ronnie over at the Sidevents area. Again,
Neil draws
players
Aether
in
Vial.
$10 draft number 2, please report to the Sidevents area where Judge Ronnie is going to get you started.
All right, let's see. Down comes Tarmogoyf, another one.
Goyf number 2.
Burley. Those Goyfs are, let's see, we have Wasteland, Lord of Atlantis, and creatures. Yeah, so they're just lands and creatures right now. So it is a 2-3 as of now, but it could easily grow to be a little larger than that.
Raise your hands, please, guys.
Let's see. All right, Alex swinging in with Curse Catcher, I believe. No, what did he serve in though there? Or is that Aether Vial? Can't quite make it out. It's right off the screen.
Oh, off of the screen on Alex's side?
Yeah, there's a card off the screen that he tapped, and it's either Aether Vial and he put something into play with it, or it's a creature he attacked with. All right, so Neil chooses to draw a card with his Horizon Canopy, cycling the Future Sight land to good effect.
All right. Alex takes game 1
Yeah.
in a blur.
Wow, that was really fast.
Yeah, I think Ghost Quarter's a really interesting choice. At first I saw it and I was like, oh, I guess he doesn't have Wastelands. And I looked at the list and it was like 4 Wasteland and 3 Ghost Quarter, so.
Yeah, I mean, in a Hate Bears deck where you're playing 2 consistent colors, seems like that works out pretty well. People said the video quality is better now, so hopefully it's working out for all you guys out there. Sorry you guys had to miss the end of the Drew 11 game and talk with Jerry Thompson, but hopefully actually being able to see what's going on will make up for it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we have 2 decks here. What do you think Alex is going to board in this matchup? You're someone who's been building Merfolk. I know you've been thinking about it a lot. What do you think the sideboard plan is for a deck like this?
Well, it seems like Sower could be good. Definitely not Lawan. Definitely not Spell Pierce. Submerge. Probably the G-Tays. G-Tays could deal with a lot of those little hate bears.
Just good.
Definitely not Hydroblast. Now again, my problem with sideboarding is what do you take out? Like, I'm not very good at figuring that out. Chalice of the Void on Neil's side is an interesting thing.
Yeah, the 2 formats and the 2 decks in the format.
Ensnaring Bridge could very easily come in from Neil. Neil has a full play set of Ensnaring Bridges in his sideboard. Swords, I would say Swords and Ensnaring Bridges come in.
Alright.
think
Yeah.
that's what I say. Swords and snaring bridges from Neil.
I mean, it's kind of tricky because if he boards in those ensnaring bridges, how is he going to be able to win?
Magic. He's just gonna.
Is he just going to deck his opponent? Like, I don't know if that's really realistic.
Creatures with power greater than the cards in his hand.
Correct. And if like his creatures aren't probably going to be able to attack, and have Alex's like. So if he attacks,
Well, then you tell me what he's gonna board, and you keep asking me after I told you
I wanted to
3
see your
times
opinion.
that I told you I don't know how to sideboard.
look, I just asked you from
You keep asking me what do you want? What do you think he should sideboard in? What do you think he should sideboard in?
Well, that's why I asked you to get your opinion. So I agree with some of your thoughts. I just was like, Sternbridge sounds good in theory. I just don't know how Neil's gonna win. Like, yeah, he can use Kazali Pride Mage to blow it up, but I think that's not going to work very well because Alex is going to be able to make the game, like he's going to build up a huge board and make the game go on as long as he wants. And I think Alex's creatures are probably going to be more powerful than Neil's creatures on average. I mean, yeah, maybe that Terror board is going to get huge, but other than that, I think all the Lords Alex will have are going to play to his favor.
Sure.
But we could definitely see Ensnaring Bridge happen.
Really? Oh, let me change this.
Definitely bring in those swords. Maybe the Relic Warder to hit a G-Tag.
That could work.
Maybe the Revoker to name Vial or Mutavault. Or I guess you can't name Mutavault with Phyrexian Revoker, excuse me.
Right.
It's non-land. But name Vial or...
I thought we were fast.
Merfolk Sovereign, perhaps.
Sheesh,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, yeah, out of Bertoncini's board, yeah. Sword of Temptation, Submerge, Jite. I think we'll see all those in this game. So here we go into game 2. Players drawing their opening hands between Alex Bertoncini and Neil Camponovo.
The trademark smiley face from Alex.
Yep. That is, in fact, his trademark. He does it every match that I've ever seen him play. At least the ones I see are always on camera, so maybe he just does it for the crowd.
Somebody just asked on Twitter, why is it at every big Magic event there's always a Subway close by? Well, from what I just heard, there are more Subways now, I think, than McDonald's.
I mean, yeah, I believe it. I think it's just there's always a Subway close by because there is always a Subway close by anything.
Anything.
Unless you're really hungry, then you'll never find one.
Right.
But, yeah, there's a ton of Subways around. The only thing more popular or more prevalent than like Subway in Seattle, I'd say, is like Starbucks. There are street corners in Seattle with as many as 3 Starbucks. And I am not exaggerating. It is unbelievable to me that they all stay in business and they're all profitable, but they all are.
It's pretty hilarious.
So, let's see. What's that front card in Neil's hand? I can't quite make it out. Looks to whites. All right, well, we'll find out soon enough. Here comes Aether Vial from Neil Camponovo.
Alex is like, no fair, I wanted to see that. There's a Mother of Runes in the front of Neil's hand. Maybe that's it, unless he switched them all around.
Yeah, maybe that was it. It looked like something else to me, but maybe not. Let's see. Aether Vial. And so Curse Catcher from Alex Bertoncini here. Aether Vial goes up to 2. Points out that Neil drew before moving up the Aether Vial counter, and so that means he can't move up the counter anymore, which is true. If you go to draw, that means that you've passed the opportunity to pick up your Aether Vial. And I'm sure Neil is hitting himself for it now, but them's the breaks. Because you don't want to use... Like, the trick is, like, some people might think it's like, oh, that's, like a minor thing, but really, like, you gain information based on what card you draw, so it can actually be gigantic.
Right.
Maybe you want to keep it at 1 or 2 or kick it up, depending on what cards you have access to. So, Silvergill Adept for Alex Bertoncini, revealing Lord of Atlantis. He's got a Wasteland back there he hasn't used yet. Looks like Neil's gripping a handful of Swords to Plowshares. I wonder if the card I saw might have been a New Age Swords
Oh, it could have
from the
been.
Elspeth versus Tezzeret deck.
Yeah.
All right, so Neil Wastelands, Alex's Wasteland, stripping him of some mana. It's like that card in the middle of Neil's hand.
I can't quite see it.
Maybe some listener now that we're live instead of 15 minutes delayed can point it out. All right, down comes Mutavault. And there's a Vial. That'll allow Alex to cast his spells without even needing to have the mana for them. All right.
Leaning Arbiter.
Okay, it's Leaning Arbiter. That's what I saw. So down comes the Arbiter. And a fancy little 2/2 in this matchup. It basically has no game text except for that players can pay 2 mana at any time to do nothing.
Right.
Path to Exile on a Silvergill Adept will get Alex to land. Oh, there we go. I take that back. Leaning Arbiter plus Path to Exile is a nice little combo.
Wow.
I did not realize that that was a thing. Very cool. Awkward.
Whoa, pretty good.
I was about to make a quip about how I always think it's kind of ridiculous when people play with Wastelands and Path to Exiles in their deck. Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to wasteland somebody and then path them to set them back up on lands, right?
Yeah.
But in this deck, we've got Leaning Arbiter. Maybe that's more of a legitimate reason.
That seems pretty good.
Because he does not have Swords of Plowshares. He's usually using Path instead, which makes sense with both Mind Sensor and Leaning Arbiter in there. Because most decks only have a couple basics anyway. So if you have a Mind Sensor, it's unlikely they're going to be able to get a land off of it most of the time, unless they're say Merfolk. But all right, Aether Vial up to 1 counter. So both players have got each other, with Alex pointing out that Neil missed his opportunity to Aether Vial, and Neil not allowing Alex to, or not letting Alex search, although not so much getting him, it's just, that's how the game played out. But still kind of a cool little interaction that happened there, where Alex picked up his deck and expected to get a land, and it was like, no, you don't get a land off this one.
So the Hate Bears do wind up being pretty effective.
That's one word for it.
Or at least one of them does.
Yeah, I thought for sure Arbiter wouldn't do anything, but Path to Exile had its way with that. All right, so Aether Vial is kicked up to 3 counters now. Gaddock Teague in Neil Camponovo's hand. Somebody asked on Twitter, shouldn't Alex have gotten a warning for picking up your library and then shuffling, not failing to find? I mean, I think that if Neil had pressed the issue, that could have been a penalty. But Alex, there's obviously no ill intent involved. He's picked up his library and expected to search. There were no cards in his library that were
Magic
set.
players. I'm hoping you can help me. I'm trying to find Mr. James Zeller.
There were no cards in his deck that were
James
set
Zeller.
from like a preordain or something, so the deck was just as random when he shuffled it. So by shuffling it, nothing changes. So it's not really a big problem.
Somebody asked if he got a warning for it, and I wrote for all, or he asked if the judge gave him a warning, and I wrote that for all we know the judge did. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know.
Alex did not receive a warning for that.
Okay.
As far as
I
can
think
tell.
that's fine.
I feel if Neil had really pressed the issue, it's possible something could have come up from it, or a caution perhaps. But I mean, there's obviously no ill intent involved, and like all Alex did was shuffle his deck, and his deck was random to start with, so it doesn't actually change anything.
Right. Agreed.
I mean, it's like there is the potential for ill intent. Obviously, if someone thought they were cheating, but I think the way Alex played, I just think he just didn't know like that's how it worked. Like we didn't even realize that that's how this was going to go down, right? So
Right.
All right, so board's getting a little cluttered here. On Neil's side, we have Aether Vial, Mother of Runes, Leaning Arbiter, Tarmogoyf. There's another card beneath it, a Terravor, and a Terravor that's slowly chipping away at Alex Bertoncini's life total. On Alex's side, he's got a Curse Catcher, an Aether Vial at 2 counters, and I believe another Aether Vial. Oh, and it's a Coral Helm Commander. I thought it'd be a Vial because it was right next to the Vial, but not the case. He uses the Vial in between the cards.
And that is a Mara Regery there, I believe.
When more folks come in, tap them.
And
It looks like a Regery.
Neil draws. Neil seems to be in a good position here, but certainly still anybody's game.
What is this?
Let's see. Curse Catcher blocks Tarmogoyf.
Oh. We just passed a pretty saucy list here.
Yeah, we're gonna feature it next round. So stay tuned for next round. We're not gonna give anything away, except for it is. No, I don't want to even say that. Yeah, that's too much. Stay tuned for next round.
I'll say one card. I'll say one
No,
card.
no, don't say any cards. I think I like it this way. Like, I think if you give them any card in this deck, it might give too much away.
What about something random out of the sideboard?
Thought about it, but also this one. Actually, I think we can give them this one.
Okay.
Our Winter Orb is in the sideboard. Winter Orb. That's all we're gonna say.
So there you go.
And the deck is 61 cards.
Is it?
Yeah. So we're featuring that next round. But in the meantime, back in this game, Tarmogoyf and Terravor on Neil's side seem like they're pretty much locked up the game. He's going to serve here, and Alex is running pretty low on options to block with.
Yep.
Yeah, and Neil just serves with everybody except for the Mother of Runes. Alex, I think Alex knows he's done for. All right, yeah, and Alex picks up his cards. He thinks about it. He's like, all right, there's nothing that can be done. Concede. All right, and players going into game 3. Alex is going to be on the play this time. And we saw Alex take down the first game pretty handily. What do you think is going to happen now that Alex is on the play? Like, I thought that for sure Neil Camponovo would be the dog in this matchup, but that game it seemed like he was pretty far ahead, even despite missing an Aether Vial trigger. I mean,
Leon and Arbiter was huge for him.
I mean, yeah, its ability shutting off Path to Exile, or shutting off his opponent from getting a land on Path to Exile.
Because the thing we were talking about was that Alex doesn't search his library, but Alex doesn't search his, but cards that Neil plays cause him to search his library. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, in 2 aggro decks, you almost always want to be on the play.
Well, I actually disagree. Like, I think a lot of the times, or not necessarily a lot of the time, but historically, there have been a lot of instances where being on the draw in the beatdown mirror is correct. Like, in the mono-red mirror, drawing is often the correct choice. Because you both are just going to trade cards back and forth, and unless you have a really high density of burn spells, like some decks have a lot of burn spells in some formats that deal a lot of damage, but unless that's the case, you really want to be on the draw so that you can get the extra cards, because there's no other way to recoup card advantage in the red mirror match. Also, before Goblin Rune Blaster came out in Shards of Scars. No.
Zendikar.
Middle one, yeah, Zendikar. On the middle of both blocks. In the Jund mirror, in Block Constructed, it was often right to draw because you just wanted the extra card for the same reasons. Like, yeah, they cast Bloodbraid Elf first, and then you were able to cast your Bloodbraid Elf, which hit a removal spell which could kill their Bloodbraid Elf, and whatever they cascade it into.
Right.
So, sometimes it is correct to draw. In this particular match, I don't think it's right to draw. But I'm just interesting factoid for all those people out there. But in this match, I think both players want to be on the play. Alex will definitely choose the play, especially with Merfolk, such a tempo-based deck. It needs to be on the play. Tempo-based decks want to be on the play because they either can take advantage of being on the play by like Birds of Paradise or Daze or something similar to that, or just because, you know, obviously they want to get the extra damage in the mirror match. And in Alex's deck, it's a little bit of the second one, but mostly the former. He has access to Daze and Force of Will and a bunch of cheap creatures and Aether Vial, which means being on the play is super important.
Yeah, according to from looking at his article from last week, I believe he said in the article that he always boards out the Dazes when he's on the draw. Probably boards him back in when he's on the play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a tempo card. Like, you can't always afford to pick up an island if you're on the draw because you want to be able to cast your spells to build up enough of a force. Or if you're on the play, it's easy to go like Curse Catcher, Lord of Atlantis, Daze your spell, untap, land, Lord of Atlantis, or something like that. So players look over their hands. It looks like Alex has a... I don't think Alex is keeping. There doesn't look to be very many lands there. Although, to be fair, the Merfolk deck doesn't need a lot of lands to operate. He's thinking about it. Alright, yeah, and he puts it back. I think there were like 2 or 3 Force of Wills in that hand. It's pretty intense. On the other hand, Neil Camponovo's hand has Wasteland, Aether Vial, Swords to Plowshares, are the 3 cards sticking up among the grassy ferns of the other cards. Can't quite make out the rest of it. Jerry Thompson in the background getting up there. His match is over. See if we can find out who won. Jerry grabbed the slip. Guessing Jerry won that one. Goes to 3-0 after his 2 buys.
Seems likely. Unless he's just that nice of a guy.
Often I like taking the result slip up just after I win, and the judges recommend that you do this just because, you know, there's potential for foul play on the other person's part.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I don't think Jerry would ever do something like that. But
no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Jerry confirms he got the victory.
Life from the Loam gets 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waste locked him.
Sideboard in Life from the Loam, and Wasteland locked his opponent as 1 of Loam. Very nice, Jerry Thompson. Very nice.
Not bad.
3-0, only 3 more wins, and Jerry's locked in for top 8. Curse Catcher beats in Neil for 1. Alex has the early beats, but he has no 2-drop to follow it up with, which is certainly an issue.
Yeah.
Neil had Aether Vial, which is a pretty key card here. I mean, Aether Vial is so powerful in both decks that, I mean, I'd imagine whoever has it is going to be far ahead. And Alex Daze is the 2nd Vial from Camponovo. Alright, 3 mana, in with the Reedry, and 1 fluid play drops the Reedry and serves with the Curse Catcher, dropping Neil down to 17. And Neil vials in a Noble Hierarch, getting an extra mana boost on his turn out of nowhere.
It's a neat advantage to have in the vial there.
Yeah. Okay, taps 2. Note that he chose not to kick his vial up this turn, leaving it on 1. No doubt more 1-drops to follow. Thinking about it. Thinking about the ability of a Merfolk Reedry to tap and untap creatures. And it looks like Phyrexian Revoker. And I think he's going to name Curse Catcher. I think he thought he could name Wasteland, but you cannot name Wasteland with Phyrexian Revoker. There seemed to be a little bit of a confusion there for a second. One big difference. One big difference between Revoker and Pithing Needle. Needle can name lands, Revoker names non-lands, but can shut off mana abilities. So, okay, so he named Coralhelm Commander. Interesting. I mean, Curse Catcher's not exactly doing a lot, but with Neil as mana stripped as he is, you know, you don't want your Path to Exile to get spiked. I just always feel like unless there's a major threat, you should name the card that's around. But
yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I suppose not in this case. All right, untaps. And Neil looking pretty bad here with 0 lands on the battlefield. A lone noble hierarchy giving him the mana he needs. That looks like another revoker. No, I didn't take time to name anything. Is that a Leanin Arbiter? Sarah's Avenger. So 3/3 Flying Vigilance. The trick to Sarah Avenger is it says it can't be played on the first 3 turns of the game, but Aether Vial doesn't play it, it just puts it into play. So you can kind of script that restriction, which is really nice.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so turn 1 Aether Vial gets it out on turn 3, when normally that wasn't a possibility. Let's see, and Sarah Avenger blocks the Regery, trading with it. So 1 Regery down, 1 to go.
That is a pretty cool interaction with the Sarah Avenger. I never even thought of that.
I remember when that came out, I thought that was really awesome. I think you can also do the same thing with...
Players, I just need 3 more to
myself,
fill
I
out
wanna look up
the
the Sarah
standard
Avenger
win box. Also, we are taking sign up for the 2 p.m. draft open. So if you're interested in any of those events, any of our 8-mans or our 4-player EDH, come on up to the main event stage and I can get you signed up.
So
once again, we are taking sign-ups for our 2nd draft open, which will start at 2 p.m. As well as we have 3 spots remaining for a standard win box.
So my dream in standard, so Sarah Avenger says you can't cast it during your first, second, or third turns of the game. My dream for a while was in limited was going turn 3, Scout's Warning into Sarah Avenger on my opponent's turn. Scout's Warning is a 1-mana instant, lets you play a creature spell on your opponent's turn.
That's really funny.
Obviously that never happened, but it's very cute. So so Neil Path to Exiled Alex. This time Neil did an Arbiter in sight, so Alex was able to get a land. And Alex has Coral Helm Commander out, and he just played a Lord of Atlantis. Going to buff up his guys even further, and Alex swings in. Neil doesn't have a lot of action to deal with that. Sitting only a paltry 5 life, it's going to be a rough time for him to dig himself out of this one. Gadatig is probably going to jump in front of something. It's a matter of if he feels he wants to kill the Curse Catcher or save the life from blocking the Coral Helm Commander. Alright, so it looks like he's going to tap the Aether Vial. Alright, Vial gets tapped.
Yeah, it's tapped.
But Gadatig got. And then, how are we blocking? Keep in mind that the Revoker is on Coral Helm Commander, so it cannot level up, which is why it's only a 2/2.
Out there. Chili cheese dog or steak? Oh, cheese steak. Very good.
And Neil trades.
Smells pretty good.
Draws. Looks like he found a Noble Hierarch, but it's sitting at only 2 life. It's gonna be pretty rough.
Absolutely. Yeah, Alex sitting at a healthy 19 life right now.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is sitting pretty right now. Even if Neil somehow managed to stem the tide, it'd be I'd say Alex still is the favorite in the long game. Let's see. Alright. So down comes something for Neil. Neil likes to place his cards right where we can't see them. Even Mind Sensor. Okay, and Neil packs him in. Alex Bertoncini takes down this match 2-1, winning round 3 of the Star City Games Open Series here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Good work, Alex. Off to a good start. Just like Jerry, only 3 more rounds, and he will be a lock for top 8 competition.